be seated. Call the next witness.
The next witness we've got called out of order as we have a claim catch that we didn't go yesterday. Eric Castle. Eric Castle. Would you raise your right hand, please, sir? You solemnly swear the testimony about to give the court in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and none of the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Have a seat, please, and please state your name.
Eric Castle,
And how do you spell your first name?
E-R-I-K.
And sir, at this time, where do you live?
Butte, Montana.
And how long have you been living in Butte, Montana now?
3 years.
And where did you grow up, sir?
Butte, Montana, sir.
And did you graduate from high school in Butte, Montana?
Yes, I did.
And at some point, did you enter the service?
Yes, I did.
And how long were you in the service?
I was in for 4 years.
What branch were you in, sir?
I was with the 82nd Airborne Division, U.S. Army.
And at some point, did you make your way to Georgia and live and work in Georgia?
Yes, I did.
And you were actually working in 2011 in Bear County at Bear County Sheriff's Department.
That is correct.
And how long did you work all together with Bear County Sheriff's Department, sir?
Over 5 years.
And during that time, did you become familiar? Let me back up a second. Tell us what your position was with Bear County Sheriff's Department in 2011.
I was an assistant shift supervisor.
What did you do as an assistant shift supervisor, sir?
Oversee other deputies within that were on shift. Took care of all the housing units.
And did you work in the jail at all?
Yes, I did.
Where you work in the detention center?
Yes.
And during that time, did you come to know an inmate by the name of Jamie Hood?
Yes, I did.
Is that the defendant sitting at the defense table here?
That is correct. Yes, it is.
And let me direct your attention, sir, to April the 1st, 2011. Did you have an interaction with inmate Jamie Hood?
Yes, I did.
And based on that, did you document that particular action?
Yes, I did.
Your Honor, I have what's been marked as State Exhibit 1190. Show that to the witness, please. State Exhibit 1190, is that your report, sir?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I would tender State Exhibit 1190 into evidence at this time.
You object?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. I object because I didn't say the exact thing he got on the report, and they also had me on the camera. All my movement, every time I moved, they had me on the portable camera.
Your Honor, respectfully, that's not the answer to the objection.
But I'm explaining my objection. I object because I don't recall never saying anything like that. I do recall saying something about the incident, but I want to state that they had me on the camera.
You have the cross-examination.
Okay.
It's a no objection.
Okay.
And Mr. Castle, if you will, I meant to ask you, what are you doing in Butte, Montana right now, sir?
I work for a group home for adults with developmental disabilities.
Now, on that April 1st, 2011, can you tell the jury about your interaction with inmate Hood on that particular day, and what led up to that, and what was said and done?
Yes, on April the 1st, I was back in administrative segregation where inmate Hood was being housed. And just got done with an attorney visit, and he had been worked up in reference to a miscommunication with information getting to his family. And so I was back there just to make sure everything went smoothly, the transition back to his cell from his attorney visit. And as I was walking him back to his cell, he was pretty worked up, and he went on to state that that's why shoot cops were being fucked up and messing with me. Y'all botch things up, and that's why y'all get shot.
And prior to that, did he tell you about something in regard to tell Sarge?
Yes, it was information being relayed to his family, and I had stated to Mr. Hood that my shift was not on the previous day, so I really didn't know what he was talking about.
And did you, when you documented that, did you put in quotation marks what exactly he said?
Yes, I did.
What was it you put in quotation marks, sir?
That's why shoot cops are being fucked up and messing with me. Y'all botched things up, and that's why y'all got shot. Y'all gonna be unprofessional and get me the fuck out of here. End quote.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, yes, sir. Afternoon, what's your name, Mr. Castle?
Yes.
Mr. Castle, isn't it true that y'all had me on a portable camera on me every all my movement from attorney? Every time I move, y'all had me on the camera?
Not at that time. I believe that's when you hadn't been in Barrow County that long.
Isn't it true from the first day, pretty much I left Barrow County, that we had a camera on me every time I move, a portable camera on all my movement?
Anytime, I believe, once you left the housing unit, yes.
Okay, so when excuse me, you said when I left the housing unit, correct?
Correct.
Okay, isn't the attorney booth way up the hall, and that's away from the housing unit?
This is what happened in the day room, but yes.
Okay. Don't the day room got cameras? Don't y'all got cameras over there on all my movement?
There were when I left, yes.
Okay, well, if I legislate and board it on camera, what were you and I on camera when I'm making the allegation?
We were always on camera when we were inside the detention facility.
Okay, could you show me on camera when I make the allegation?
Can you say that again?
Do you have any video where I made the allegation to you?
Oh, I don't keep the videos. That's the department that keeps the videos.
Well, you don't think that would have been good evidence for the jury to see themselves, sir?
No, that's argumentative, and I'll object to
I'll,
Do you think that would have been good evidence for the jury to see exactly what I said and what me and you were doing?
I guess, yes.
Well, why you don't have it here then?
Not my job to have it here.
Okay, well, is it your job to tell a lie on it?
Negative.
I'll sustain that objection.
Okay, well, when you agree that if I just said something and we got it on camera that I couldn't tell a lie, you couldn't either, then just give everybody do it straight up?
Yes.
Okay, now again, how many allegations I make for cruel non-use punishment at Barrow County Jail?
Can you say that again? I
How
can't
many
understand.
allegations did I make at the Barrow County Jail for cruel non-use punishment against me? How many times I do that?
I can't understand the last part of the question.
How many times did I make requests or complaints about the cruel and unusual punishment that I received at Barrow County Jail?
Daily?
Okay, why would I make daily complaints about the cruel and unusual punishment?
No, he can't speculate as to
I don't know why you did
I'll
what you did.
sustain.
Okay, well, isn't it true that they moved me from the Barrow County Jail because I called the news of how bad y'all treat me up there?
You were there when I left the Barrow County Jail.
But I'm not there then.
I don't know.
You don't know. What else do you recall me doing there?
Complaining about the air that was going into the cell, complaining about the uniform, complaining about the food.
Do you recall I told y'all I had a tick in my food? The bug was moving around in my food and y'all brought me the tray?
I cannot recall every time you got fed. I wasn't always back there.
Okay, but you do recall me complaining about the food, right?
Yeah?
You don't recall me showing y'all that tray and it was moving, the bug had 1,000 legs on it, you don't recall that?
No, I do not.
Well, who put that bug in my tray?
I don't know.
Now, you complain about the air. I'd like to show you the picture. Hold on, before I move you. Could I introduce the exhibits in this place? Okay, good eye.
Did you mark?
I don't have no stickers, I thought it was those stickers. Will we start off with one? Then we'll start it? Or you wanna keep going?
We keep going. Last one I had was 66, is that correct?
That's right.
Is that it?
So this will be 67?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, 84.
Well, just a minute. But if you already marked that,
I can put some more
let's
stickers.
put another sticker because it skipped. Let's go to 85.
Okay.
Rest of them are blank.
So we start at 85? Or is it 86? 85?
85.
Okay.
There's a gap. But
Yeah, I would like to, Mr. Captain, see is it defendant 85, 86, and 87? And ask him to view these, sir. Mr. Council, yesterday I complained about air. If you recall me, calling y'all there and they complaining about the air, but they were blowing something in my room. I was telling y'all they were blowing something in my room. They called my eye to swell up and called me to spit up blood. You recall me complaining about the air at the jail?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do these exhibit 85, 86, and 87, but do you recall the officer that y'all come there and then y'all got a room and y'all swept the room up and took a photograph of what was being blown in my room? Do you recall that, sir?
No, there were 4 different shifts working in the jail. I only worked on one of them.
Okay, well, how do you know I was complaining about the air and about the stuff being blown in my room then?
Because I was on shift one day when you were complaining about it.
Okay, is this a fair presentation of the stuff that was being blown in my room and I complained to you and you come down to my room and I showed it to you?
I honestly don't know.
Well, what did you?
Because at the time you were complaining, I didn't see any evidence of anything blown into your room. That looks like a bunch of dust bunnies from underneath the bed.
Okay, but is this where it come from? Did you recall this?
Sorry,
Yeah,
indicate-
I saw that.
Oh, sorry.
Already indicated he didn't see that or didn't know that.
Why did they take pictures then? Why would the officer come there and take
None
a
of that.
picture of my
Can't
trash in my
speculate,
room?
and I would object to that.
It's a sign.
Okay. So you don't recall coming down there and looking at the stuff they were blowing in my room, and I told you, look up on the bed that was over there and come through that vent, and my eye was swollen up and I was spitting up blood. Do you recall that?
No. I remember you complaining about the stuff blown in your room.
Okay. Do you recall me complaining to you and others about officers taking my free time and cutting the phones on me and making me go in my room before my time and all that? Do you recall that?
No.
You don't recall me making any complaints about that then?
Oh, I read the complaints, but you never complained to me about that.
Okay, did you read any complaints about they taking my visitation from me and everything?
No, not the visitation, no.
Well, you just stated that somebody took something from my family. What was that?
I have no idea. It was something about your location and when you arrived at the Barrett County that you weren't in someplace else wherever you were before.
Okay. Mr. Council, during your time in Barrett County, do you recall any inmates going to the NAACP on the Barrett County officer proving not use punishment? Do you recall any of that?
Can you say that again? I can't understand
Do
you.
you recall inmates?
There are a lot of
going to
inmates.
the NAACP on the Barrett County officer for proving not using punishment and excessive force against inmates? Do you recall that?
No.
Was you part of that?
No.
How many inmates have you seen the Barrett County officer beat just mercifully? How many times you saw that?
I haven't.
You have. Why would NAACP come to Barrett County and check on
I'm not the double A
Indicated what his knowledge was of this allegation that had been made.
Sustained.
So you don't have a little, have you ever seen me on a little portable camera yourself? The little camera y'all have when y'all take me to see my attorney, do you ever recall them having that camera every time I move up that hall?
Yeah,
Okay, so you do remember the portable camera?
yes,
Okay, and I stay in the cell by myself 23, 24 hours a day, isn't that correct?
that is correct.
By myself?
Yes,
No other inmates around me in that cell, right?
that is correct.
Okay, well, why don't you have that camera to show the jury about the allegation you got on your report?
He's already answered that question. He's already asked and answered. He asked you earlier.
Sustained.
No further question.
Cancel. That incident happened, what time did you indicate that incident happened, date and time?
That was April 1st, 2011, at about 10:20 in the morning.
And what time did you write that report? What day did you write that report? I mean,
The same day, I wrote it at 3:16, I believe. Yes.
thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Brief. Ms. Catherine, I ever put my hands on any of y'all? Do you recall me ever
No.
put my hands on anybody? But you recall me making complaints about my food in the air?
Yes, I remember you making
Also,
complaints.
Do you recall me making complaints about my visitation time? They make my family sit out there excessive amount of time. Do you recall those complaints?
I remember you complaining, yes.
Okay. Do you recall me calling the news and reporting to the news the cruel and unusual punishment I was receiving at the jail?
I was gone by the time any of that happened.
But how do you know it happened?
I still have friends with Bear County.
What you and your friend talk about, Jamie Wood, on the news? What y'all talk about?
Did you see the news? Jamie Hood called the news. That was pretty much it.
Did they tell you why I called the news on the Barrow County Jail?
No.
Was you there when I tried to get transferred from the Barrow County Jail when we went to court? Do y'all
No.
recall me going to court and asking the judge to get me out of jail pertaining to the cruel and unusual punishment? Do you recall that?
No, I was gone before then.
Okay, did your friend call you on the phone and say he never to come to jail because he didn't call the news on us?
No.
When did your friend call you and tell you that I called the news on? When?
They didn't call me specifically for, oh, did you see the news? Mr. Hood's on the news. No, it just got brought up in conversation.
Tell us about that. How did it come up?
Did you see the news?
What else they talk about? Jamie Hood. Pertaining to Jamie Hood in the news.
Jamie Hood's on the news. That's pretty much it.
Did they say he was on the news for calling on the Barrow County?
No.
But I thought that was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that what you were saying, he didn't call the news on this
That's
guy.
not a question.
No.
I object to it.
Wow. No further question.
Anything else?
Nothing further.
You need to excuse?
Yes, sir.
Excuse, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
Captain Phillips?
He did.
Would you raise your right hand, please, ma'am? You promise whether the testimony about to give report in this matter, State versus Jamie Donnell Hood, will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a seat? Please state your name for the jury, please.
My name's Catherine Phillips, Phillips.
And are you employed, ma'am?
Yes, I am,
Where are you employed?
with the Athens Park County Police Department.
And how long have you been working with the police department now? altogether?
42 years,
And did you work prior to unification, work at the Athens Police Department?
I did.
And what is your current position with the Athens Park County Police Department?
I'm an administrative assistant to the police chief.
And ma'am, did you prepare a victim impact statement?
Yes, I did.
Let me show you what's been marked in State Exhibit 1191. Is that your victim impact statement?
Yes, it is.
I would tender that to the evidence judge.
No, sir, Your Honor.
Would you read that, please, to the jury, ma'am?
Yes, I will. March 22nd, 2011 will be forever etched in my mind. I remember exactly where I was, what time it was, and how I received the terrible, unfathomable news that a friend and co-worker, Senior Police Officer Buddy Christian, had been shot and had died. And that another officer, Tony Howard, had been shot and was seriously wounded. I thought, what? Not Buddy, not Tony. I had just exchanged emails exactly 24 hours earlier with Buddy. It could not be true. Unfortunately, it was true. On that day, I had worked with the Athens Clarke County Police Department for 38 years. I had never experienced in those entire years one of our own being shot and killed in the line of duty. Since that day, I have been reminded constantly of this senseless loss through the media and through social network, and when I see his widow, Melissa, and their 2 precious children. I think about Tony Howard and sympathize with him, knowing that he was there. He had been shot. He couldn't stop the suspect. And then the unthinkable happened. An officer was killed by the same gunman who had shot him. My heart aches for the pain he went through and may still be going through, both physically and psychologically. Each time I hear of another officer killed in the line of duty, I cringe, for I know that what their department is going through. Although I'm not a police officer and cannot walk in their shoes, I do know that my heart aches for them, and I pray for their safety and the safety of the officers of the Athens Clarke County Police Department. I hope that justice will be served and a lesson to others be gleaned from it.
Thank you.
Question? Is that a no?
No, sir.
You should be excused.
Yes, sir.
You're excused. Sorry, next witness.
Lisa Howard. You raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give report in this matter of state versus Jamie Donnell Hood will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Have a seat, please, ma'am. Would you state your name again for the jury and spell your first name?
Shalisa Howard, Shirlisa.
And I'm going to ask you to move that microphone over to you, and
Not your chair, maybe.
or your chair back to it, either way.
Okay, is that
And,
better?
A little bit closer, you can pull it to you, but not, that should do it.
Okay,
All right.
okay, Shalisa Howard, Shirlisa.
And ma'am, as you indicated before, you're the wife of Tony Howard,
Correct,
and have you prepared a victim impact statement in this matter?
I have.
Let me show you what's been marked in 1192. Is that your statement, ma'am?
Yes,
I would tend to state it at 1192 to have.
No, sir, Your Honor.
Would you please read that statement to the jury, ma'am?
okay. The day my husband, Tony Howard, was shot was the day my life, our kids, and my family members' life were changed forever. I was working in the visitation area of the Clarke County Jail where I worked as the deputy sheriff, and I got a phone call saying that I was being relieved of my workstation because my husband may have been in a shooting incident and he was possibly shot. Immediately I knew Tony Howard had been shot. I said to myself, oh, he's been shot, but he'll be okay. Probably the bullet just nicked him on the leg or the finger or something. I called his father and his mother and told them to get to the hospital. My parents were on their way also. I started to pray, Jesus, Jesus. Then I heard someone say that one officer is dead and one is fighting for his life. When I arrived at the hospital, people were standing around looking sad with their heads hanging down. It was like a movie scene. When you jump out of a car, you are rushed into the hospital and there is no time to think or ask any questions. I'm in a waiting room with other people, family members, police officers, sheriff, deputies, and I did not know this man, but he said he was looking for the Christian family. and he was their pastor. He was told he needed to be at St. Mary's Hospital, and he was rushed away. So now I'm like, who's dead? Who's alive? Deputy Sharon Willis walked into the doorway of the room, saying nothing, but the look in her eyes took my thoughts to, oh my God, this is real. But I just kept trying to say to myself that he's okay. I told Deputy Sharon Willis to get in touch with Tony's 2 older sons, and she left the room. The doctors came into the room saying that he was in the CAT scan, that he was in the CAT scan, and they were talking about Officer Howard, and that he could not tell us anything until he came out of the CAT scan. The doctor was saying other stuff, but I have no idea what else he was saying at that time. I just prayed. I started praying, and someone in the room started praying. By this time, our pastor and church elders had arrived. Now they took me to another room around the corner where Tony's on his back and blood is flowing on the floor. The blood is coming from his head on both sides, a little at a time, and he has a neck brace around his neck and an oxygen mask on his face. He's talking, asking for the neck brace to be removed, and he keeps saying he could not breathe. His nose cavity was crushed, and that's why he could not breathe out of his nose, but he was breathing out of his mouth. But at that time, he did not understand what was going on. Oh my God, Tony Howard has been shot in the head and in the back. Blood. I can still see the blood just dripping from the sides of his head. And I could see the holes in the side of his head. The doctor and emergency room personnel are all working on him. Then he's off to his first surgery. Then came the week stay at the hospital and having to worry about my husband's well-being and also my children and Tony's 2 older boys' well-being. My family and Tony's family were there for support. We had a great support system for our children, from our children's school and our church family. The children were worried about what was going to happen to their dad. Tony's mother, stepfather, his father were naturally concerned with Tony's well-being. All of our family members were concerned as well as the entire law enforcement community. Having to deal with all the talk about Jamie Hood and the police searching for Jamie Hood and not knowing what Tony's condition would be was so difficult. The unknown about Tony's condition and all the surgeries and the other officer's death. Then Tony's surgery on the 2nd day after the shooting, I get a phone call at the nurse's station. It's the anesthesiologist saying that he can't get Tony to stay under or asleep, and they have to do this surgery. The anesthesiologist informed me that I needed to sign papers saying that he could give Tony more medicine to put him to sleep. The anesthesiologist informed me that he would get him under or to sleep for the surgery, but he could not assure me that Tony would wake up. Jesus, Jesus, what do I do now? I signed the papers not knowing if my husband would wake up after the surgery. There's nothing I could do but pray to God. Tony came out of the surgery and was back in the intensive care room. This was a very emotional and stressful hour for me, not knowing if he would wake up. Thanks to God and Tony's will to live, he did wake up. I only left the hospital 2 times during those days, once to go home and once to pay my respect to Buddy Christian and his family at the funeral home. Once Tony was released from the hospital and I was home with him, we still not knowing if he would be able to return to work doing the job he loved to do, not knowing if he would be able to walk without getting dizzy in the head, not knowing if he would lose more of his hearing in one ear or both. just dealing with all the unknowns of our life when I had my breaking point. Then the news media kept calling the house and knocking at our door. I had my moment to cry and thank God for life, for the gift of my husband's life. I thank God for my family, my friends, my pastor, my church members, my co-workers, everyone in the community. Once we were home from the hospital, life was not easy because we had a doctor's visit every day. I believe there was therapy 3 days a week, and the regular doctor was once a week. At home, I had to clean the wounds on his back until it was closed up, and there was a process of putting as many ice cream sticks in his mouth every 30 minutes to keep his jawbone from locking closed. He had to have a bone removed from his jaw because he could not open his mouth wide. So I was not home sitting there doing nothing as people thought I may have been doing. I woke up. I was up and down all night taking care of my husband, Tony Howard, driving him to doctor's appointments. He could not drive because of the dizziness, because of the hearing problem, sometimes pain in his inner ear, and all the medications that he was taking. I started to have problems with my own health due to all the stress. My hair fell out, I gained weight. I've never had problems with my thyroid, but now I do. Even after 4 years, I'm still having problems getting the weight off. My hair has grown back. I had to find a new job because of the stress of the shooting of my husband, Tony Howard. I worked at the Clark County Jail for 19 years and 10 months, and I liked my job. After returning to work after the shooting, my husband was better. I could not emotionally deal with everything. I could not continue to work in that environment. It had become too stressful. I had to find another job. Because I had to find another job, this had a negative effect on my household income. I do not have the opportunity to work overtime anymore. This shooting has affected my husband's income as well, as he worked a regular duty job Monday through extra duty job Monday through Friday prior to this happening. That income has been taken away after the shooting because he was unable to work extra duty jobs. I believe this event has changed all our lives in Athens, Clark County. My life has changed so much. My life has changed so much in the last 4 years. This shooting has caused me to never leave home without my gun. However, my faith in God has gotten even stronger. My family's faith overall has been strengthened. When an event such as this shooting takes place, it will force you to see life in a different way and to love more and fuss less. You enjoy life more and you're thankful for all that God has given you because you never know what tomorrow will bring. Yes, I still cry over this shooting that has affected my life and my family's life forever. 2 people lost their lives for nothing.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Questions?
Very briefly, I'm Very, very brief. Afternoon, Howard.
Good afternoon.
Do you recall testifying at a judge recused a hearing? Ma'am, do you recall testifying at the Lawful Stevens judge recused a hearing, ma'am?
A previous court hearing
Yes, ma'am.
with Judge, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Judge Sweat was the judge at the hearing there. Do you recall at that hearing tell Judge Sweat that Officer Howard was in the hospital? Do you recall him asking you, could Officer Howard talk? Do you recall him asking you that?
I don't remember if he asked me that or not, but I do remember my husband speaking, like I just said in what I read, that he was saying, well, he thought he couldn't breathe, but he was breathing out of his mouth. He just couldn't breathe out of his nose. So he was saying something, yes.
Do you recall telling the judge that Officer Howard stated that he was sorry that this happened, that he didn't mean for this to happen? Do you recall telling the judge that he was saying that he was sorry that this happened and he didn't mean for this to happen? Do you recall telling the judge that, ma'am?
I do recall that, but what I was saying was my husband was laying there being sorry and remorseful for his family, saying he didn't mean for this to happen, to take us through this. That's what he was saying.
But he did say he was sorry that he didn't mean for it to happen. Is that correct, ma'am?
He didn't mean to get shot that day. Nobody means to go to work and get shot.
Could you please answer the question? Did you recall him saying?
I do remember him. I do remember me saying that, yes.
Okay, no further question.
Anything else, Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You should be excused. Yes, sir. Call your next witness.
Tony Howard. Raise your right hand, please, sir. Sorry, for the testimony about to give the court in this matter. State versus Jamie Donnell Hood will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Have a seat, please. You stated briefly you're Tony Howard, is that correct, sir?
That's correct.
And, sir, did you prepare a victim impact statement in this case?
I did.
Let me show you what's been marked as State Exhibit 1193. That's your statement, sir.
It is.
Is that correct?
It is.
And I would tender exhibit into evidence at this time.
Any objection?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Would you please read your statement that you prepared for the jury, please?
After the event of March 22nd, 2011, my life was changed forever. After being released from the hospital and going home, I was required to come back for outpatient surgery on several occasions. This was and has been very painful and stressful on my body. Every now and then, I continue to lose feeling on the left side of my face from the trauma of the gunshot wound. I have to sometimes lean towards people with my right ear to hear what people are saying because I have lost over 20% of my hearing in my left ear. At times, before coming back to work, I thought I wasn't going to be able to perform the essential duties required of being a police officer again. At one point, I was afraid to face the men and women who wore the badge because I felt that I let them down in getting shot because one person lived and the other person died. At times, I was very objective to people and very argumentative, and even sometimes not wanting to talk to people in the hallways because they looked and stared at me. I would forget previous conversation with people or be lost in deep thoughts at times. I would also argue and fuss at my family members for no reason at all, when before this would have never happened. At times, when I'm out in public, people that I don't know may bump up against me accidentally especially on my left side, or come close to me, I would tense up and feel for my weapon, because in my mind, someone is still out to get me for no reason. It changed my life initially to the point that I didn't want to leave the house, but just go to therapy and back home. My wife has been impacted by not sleeping at night and with some medical problem because of stress. She has changed jobs because of all the talk at the Clark County Jail by inmates making smart comments months ago by people she sees now in probation. My children sometimes have a hard time focusing on school or out in the community, when people mostly want to talk about the Jim Hood case. There were extra duty jobs being worked on a regular basis that was a supplemental income before this happened. That income has been lost because of this incident. Now without those extra jobs, those extra duty jobs, we are living on less than we were before, which has now affected my family's quality of life forever. How this changed my life is by having this on my mind almost every day, and I continue to question myself. What could I have done differently to prevent this horrific incident? I sometimes feel like there's a dark cloud over my head pulling me back in another direction instead of moving forward in my life. People sometimes ask my opinion on the case and what I think needs to happen. My family just wants to be left alone and move forward. I do believe when the court and the jury makes a decision, it will be the right one. The things that used to matter to me just don't matter anymore. No person on earth should have to go through what both families had to go through on March 22nd, 2011, and since that day. This has changed my life by serving a servant of God, and serving to my family, and a servant to the people.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Can you be excused?
Yeah.
You may be excused, sir. Call your next witness.
Charlie Wayne. Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear the testimony about to give the court in this matter of State versus Jamie Donnell Hood will be the truth, the whole truth, and no truth, testify.
I do.
Would you state your name for the jury, please?
Song Wang.
And you go by Charlie?
I do.
And, sir, are you employed?
I am
Where are you employed?
at the Athens Clark County Police Department.
And how long have you been working with the Athens Clark County Police Department?
This August 5th will be 10 years.
And what is your position with the Athens Clark County Police Department, sir?
I am a sergeant on Midnight's East,
And how long have you been a sergeant?
approximately over a year, 2 months.
And during your time with the Athens Clark County Police Department, did you come to know Elmer Buddy Christian?
I did.
And how did you come to know him, sir?
We worked on the same shift for almost 4 years.
And did you come to know him outside of work also, sir?
I did.
In what way?
We worked out together. We had dinner together. Our families got to know each other. He helped me put a hot water heater in my basement, just what friends do for each other.
Did you prepare a victim impact statement in this case, sir?
I did.
Let me show you what's been marked. It states Exhibit 1194.
Thank you.
Is that your statement, sir?
It is.
And I would tender states Exhibit 1194 to evidence at this time.
No, sir, Your Honor.
And Officer Wayne, would you please read that to the jury?
Sure. There hasn't been a day since Elmer Basco Buddy Christian III was taken from us over 4 years ago that I haven't thought about him or wished that he was still here with us. Buddy wasn't just my co-worker, he was also my friend. We answered calls together on shift when we could. We worked out together after work. Our kids played together, and our families had dinner together when we were off work. If both of us were working on shift, one of our families was meeting with us for our meal break. That family usually ended up eating with both of us more often than not. As good as an officer as Buddy was, he made an even better friend. He was the type of friend who was always there when you had a question or needed help doing something, no matter what the task was. He always had a good attitude and didn't think twice about helping someone who needed it. The world would be a better place if we had more people like Buddy in it. He was just that kind of person. Instead, Buddy was violently taken from us, and we were left to pick up the pieces no matter how brokenhearted we were or still are. Anybody who knew Buddy personally knows how much he loved his kids, wife, mother, father, and brother. Buddy talked constantly about his kids, and it is heartbreaking to see his children growing up without him here to witness it and be the proud dad that he always was. It doesn't seem fair that I get to still go to his kids' birthday parties with my family, but Buddy isn't able to be there because of one person's actions that ended Buddy's time here on earth. Buddy and I had made plans to do things together with our kids. It hurts me to know that Buddy isn't here to take our daughters back to the driving range so that we can teach them how to hit golf balls, or take our sons fishing, or take them to target practice for the first time. It is devastating to me to know that Buddy wasn't here when my wife and I had a baby 2.5 years ago. He never had the chance to know what we were expecting our second baby and that it was a boy. My friend wasn't here to hold my baby boy and tell me that what all I had to look forward to doing with my son. He wasn't here to know that we gave our son the name Christian because we hope and pray that he grows up to be a good person just like Buddy Christian was. Because Buddy was taken from us, the only feeble attempt I could make so that my son would always remember Buddy would be to give Christian as a name so that he could hear all the stories about Buddy and know what an awesome person he was named after. The last 4 years have been a roller coaster of emotions for me, and I know that I'm not alone in feeling that way. So many people lost a friend and a co-worker when Buddy was killed. It was difficult for me to sleep because of the nightmares. It was difficult for a while to go back to work knowing that Buddy wouldn't be there ever again. Buddy and I worked well together, and I trusted him and knew he always had my back. It was difficult to go back to work knowing that I didn't know how I was going to trust another officer the way I trusted Buddy. How was I supposed to work without Buddy? How was I supposed to learn to trust someone the way I trusted Buddy? What type of officer would I be if I didn't find someone that I could trust like I trusted Buddy? The incident also drove home the point that as police officers, we never really know what the workday holds for us. While we are trained to be ready for any situation, having one of our officers killed and another seriously wounded took away the hypothetical situation and made it all too real. It wasn't just a training exercise anymore. It was real life due to one person's actions. Even 4 years later, it still seems like a nightmare that I relive each day when I realize that Buddy is gone from this earth and isn't coming back. The holidays and anniversaries of Buddy's death are hard to deal with. It's difficult to go to our friend's house on Memorial Day, July 4th, and Halloween and see Buddy's wife and kids come to the door and know that Buddy isn't with them. It's difficult to watch everyone gather on March 22nd and see the sadness in everyone's eyes as we remember Buddy. It's difficult for me to explain to my daughter what happened to Buddy. Because an 8-year-old little girl shouldn't have to know about someone killing her friend's dad. My 8-year-old little girl shouldn't have to worry so much about me staying safe when I go to work because of one person's acts against 2 police officers within minutes of each other, but she does. One person is responsible for Buddy's death. One person is responsible for Buddy's kids not having their father here to watch them and help them grow up. One person is responsible for a wife, a mother, a father, and brother suffering the pain of not having Buddy here with them. One person is responsible for killing my friend. One person is responsible for so much heartbreak and pain.
Thank you, Officer Wray.
Any questions, Mr. Judge? No, y'all.
Give it excuse.
Yes.
Give it excuse, sir. Thank you. Following the next witness.
Michael Talbert. You raise your right hand, please, sir. You solemnly swear that the testimony about to give the court in this matter of state versus Jamie Donnell Hood will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
Did you state your name for the jury, please, sir?
Michael Talbert.
And are you employed, sir?
Yes, sir.
Where are you employed?
Athens, Clark County Fire Department.
Hold that microphone just a tad bit towards you.
Okay.
And how long have you been with the Athens Clark County Fire Department, sir?
I'm finished up 16 years in October.
What is your current position with the Athens Clark County Fire Department?
I'm a sergeant stationed on the west side of town at Station 4, Oglethorpe Avenue.
And did you know a person by the name of Elmer Buddy Christian before his death in March 2011?
Yes, sir.
How did you know him?
Buddy was my best friend. I met in 5th grade, and we maintained a friendship all our lives.
Let me show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 1195.
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize that particular photograph, sir?
Yes, sir.
And what is that a photograph of?
This is a picture where Buddy and I went to a toy store. I believe it was Learning Express in the mall. We did a little interaction with the kids there, talk about fire department, police department, jobs we do.
You know about when that was prior to his death? You recall it all, sir?
I'm not sure exactly, but I would imagine it was in 2010, maybe. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm gonna think about 2010.
No, I would tend to State's Exhibit 1195 in evidence of this kind.
Any objections?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Submitted.
Just briefly, sir, what were y'all doing there at the mall there, sir?
We were just talking with the kids, talking about the fire department. That's what I was there doing, and talking about the jobs we do, our typical things that we do during the day. Buddy was doing the same for the police department. Callie and White are both right there in front of us, and along with a couple other children.
Where are they there in the photo there, sir?
Callie has the long blonde hair. She's sitting directly in the middle of the photo, and White is to her left with a blue shirt on.
On the back row?
Yes, sir. That's Callie. And there's White.
Sir, did you prepare a victim impact statement in this case?
Yes, sir.
to show you what the mark that states Exhibit 1196. Is that your statement, sir?
Yes, sir.
You know, Howard 10 that states Exhibit 1196 in there.
Any objection?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Submitted.
Would you please read that to the jury, sir?
Yes, sir. The day I met Buddy was the first day of school in the 5th grade. I was 10 years old. I was a new kid in school, and little did I know the first person who came up to me would be the boy with whom I would share a friendship of a lifetime. As the years passed, there was not a day in school where we were not together or had plans to do something after school. We worked together, we were volunteer firefighters together, and eventually we both became public service together. Everyone who knew us knew the friendship we shared, the brotherhood. Growing up, I was the only child, but after that day in the 5th grade, God blessed me with a brother I never had. We were typical boys with dirt bikes and trucks, skiing at the lake, hunting and fishing, and all the typical things friends do together. We did everything together. We shared hobbies. Excuse me. We worked together. We went to church together. We went on double dates together, and we even welcomed children in this world together. Throughout the years, our friendship together, our circle of friends grew from people in our church and our police and fire departments. And we even talked about, and we're making plans on trips for retirement. We were going to buy RVs and travel the country with our wives. But all that came to an end that dreadful day. Those dreams died. My heart now has a hole. Our friends, we all feel the void left by this incredible man whose charisma and smile is missing. Our community was rocked by this tragedy. A tragedy that took someone so special. A tragedy that took my brother. We'll never be able to put into words how much I miss my best friend. Excuse me. He was the best of them. I would ask his advice and he would do the same. It just doesn't seem real that I can't pick up the phone and call him and tell him a funny story or just ask how his week was. We were both public servants. And we knew the risks that come with our jobs. But you always hope that people really aren't that bad. And we all get to see our children grow up. But that's just not the case. The harsh reality is this wonderful man left behind a wife and two very precious children. This act took away a brother, a son, the best of friends. There is nothing that will ever bring Buddy back, and no one will ever take his place.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Any excuse? Yes. Excuse, sir. Call your next witness.
Randy Crowe. Raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear the testimony about to give the court in this matter, State versus Jamie Donnell Hood, will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You have a seat, please, sir, and pull up. You have to be right on the mic. Just pull up a little bit closer to you.
Okay.
Could you tell the jury your name, please, sir?
Randy Crow.
And how do you spell your last name?
Crowe.
And are you employed, sir?
Yes.
And where are you employed?
Hull Baptist Church in Hull, Georgia.
What do you do at Hull Baptist Church, sir?
I'm the pastor.
And how long have you been the pastor?
Going on 23 years.
And as a pastor, did you come to know a person by the name of Elmer Buddy Christian?
I did.
How did you come to know him, sir?
When I came to be the pastor of Hull Baptist, he was a member there.
Did he hold any places in that particular church, any positions?
Oh, yes, many.
What were the positions that he held at the time of his death, sir?
He was a deacon. He was a deacon. He operated our soundboard, operated our church sign, made sure all the announcements were up there and so forth. He was an Awana leader with the children. He also served as custodian of the church. He taught Sunday school. He was with the Brotherhood ministry. Just about anything in the church Buddy could do.
Yes. And did you prepare a victim impact statement in this case, sir?
I did.
Let me show you what's been marked as 1197. Look at that, see if that's the statement that you prepared, sir.
This is the statement.
And I would tender states as if 1197 in the evidence at this time.
No, sir.
And sir, if you will, Reverend, would you please read that to the jury?
On that tragic day of March 22nd, 2011, the lives of this pastor and members of the Hull Baptist Church were turned upside down. On that day, we lost a faithful and loving member of our fellowship by the name of Buddy Christian. At the news of Buddy's untimely death, our hearts were crushed. We had to accept the reality that we would no longer see the smiling face of a young man that impacted so many lives in our church, both young and old. Buddy brightened the lives of everyone he knew by his magnetic personality and encouraging words. If someone was down and out, it was Buddy who had the right words to make him feel better. Buddy was a faithful follower of Christ and a devoted member of the Hull Baptist Church. He was a devoted son, brother, friend, and loving husband and father. It was a real joy to claim Buddy, Melissa, Callie, and Wyatt as part of our church family. It was heart-wrenching to see this lovely young family torn apart by the tragic and untimely death of this devoted husband and loving father. Our church family has been devastated by the loss of Buddy Christian. Even though it has been 4 years, we still miss him tremendously. As his pastor for 18 years, I can still visualize him sitting at the sound booth, smiling as the message was delivered. Buddy was good with children. He served as an Awana leader. The children loved him and felt comfortable around him. As a dedicated police officer, the children looked up to him, but also because he was truly a buddy to everyone, regardless of their age. Buddy was a financial supporter, faithful financial supporter of the church. He had a big and generous heart. His compassion for people and sweet personality around people will certainly be missed. Yes, we miss him at our deacons' meetings. We miss him at our men's meetings. We miss him as our church custodian. But mostly we miss Buddy Christian, the man. That young man who was a real blessing to the church family. And that young man who also impacted our church that we will never quite be the same. His murder that day in March of 2011 denied us the opportunity of knowing the blessings he would have been to the life of our church through his dedicated commitment to Christ and to his service to the church and community. Our church needed Buddy Christian, and not a Sunday goes by that we do not miss him. It is the hope of our church that this court will consider all the facts concerning the great loss of Buddy Christian, not only to his family and friends, but also to his church family. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any questions? No, sir. You be excused. Yes. Excused, sir.
Thank you.
Call your next witness.
Officer Watkins. You raise your right hand, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give the court in this matter, State versus Jamie Donnell Hood, with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Okay.
You have a seat, please, sir. Would you state your name for the jury, please?
Russell Watkins.
Sir, what do you do for a living?
I work in a medical facility.
And did you know Elmer Buddy Christian before his death?
I did.
How did you know him?
He married my cousin.
About how long have you been knowing him, sir?
Met him in spring of '93.
So Melissa is your cousin?
Yes, sir.
Now, did you prepare a victim impact statement in this matter?
I did.
Let me show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 1198.
Okay.
That's your victim impact statement, sir?
It is.
Then I would tender State's Exhibit 1198 in evidence this time.
Any objection?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Submitted.
Mr. Watkins, would you please read that to the jury?
Okay. Buddy Christian was a very unique person, and if you never got the chance to meet him, you missed out on a blessing. God creates all people with the opportunity to change the world around them, but only if you take advantage of that opportunity. Buddy was one of the few. When people ask me about Buddy, they'd say things like, "Oh, he was your cousin, right?" But I respond, more than a cousin, he was a friend. Anyone can be a cousin or a family member by simply being born, but Buddy was a friend to me and a friend to all. As I sat on that horse-drawn hearse that slowly moved Buddy's lifeless body to his final resting place, I looked on both sides of the road, filled with people in the community who took time out of their busy lives to pay respect to a fallen hero. When an average person dies, there are a select few that are affected and a handful of people come to support the family. When a popular person dies, many people come out. The service is full of friends and family. But when a hero dies, the whole community shows up. Town comes to a halt, and their legacy lasts a lifetime. There's been a void in our family since the day that Buddy's life was tragically taken. We'll never get to hear Buddy so graciously say the prayer at Thanksgiving dinner at Granny's house. There will always be a missing person in the family photo at Christmas time. There will continue to be days where Kelly comes home crying from school because she's constantly reminded that her daddy is gone. And we'll continue to cry and shake our heads when we hear that Wyatt is asking, can he go to heaven so he can see his daddy? We'll continue to watch Melissa work day and night on projects to honor Buddy and others that have fallen, to keep his memory alive. Such acts rarely have permanent repercussions, but in this situation, our family is forever changed and no one can fix it. And I would ask anyone who reads this to think of a great person in your family, the person that everyone wants to be around, the one that makes everyone laugh, the one that is a pillar in the family, the one that you can count on to be there for you. Picture the person that's made a difference in your life, in your family, in your community. Picture the person that you love and call friend. And then after you picture that person and all the things that make them special to you, picture them gone. Thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Any questions? No, sir. Need to be excused. Yes, sir. We'll take a recess. Did y'all have a, did y'all give